Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, Sunday, February 2nd, 2025. My newest segment of Markets Look Ahead. People, a lot of things have occurred already this weekend, and this is going to be an interesting week moving forward. And it actually goes way beyond that, quite obviously. If certain things occur the way they are already unfolding, and it depends on how long this goes on. I'm referring to the tariffs and the retaliatory tariffs so far that have been placed on the United States by Canada and Mexico, and soon to be China, who's also promising retaliation. This could get very interesting for people with regard to their cost of living, obviously, and how this could hit the markets. Now, another interesting dynamic, if you want to call it that, did play out. President Trump did order military airstrikes against terrorists here in Somalia. Now, I sent this out to you. This is in your inbox right now. So let me just read this to you real quick. So I wrote lines. Trump says he has ordered military strikes against ISIS. Lions' usual MO here on a weekend, not during market hours. President Trump says he has ordered precision airstrikes on Saturday morning targeting senior ISIS planners and other unnamed individuals recruited and led in Somalia. Trump says these killers, who we found hiding in caves, threaten the United States and our allies. And Trump, on his social media networks, did say that these strikes destroyed the caves that they live in and killed many terrorists. Okay, that's fantastic. What they're doing here, obviously, look, man, war, the escalation of war is always in the back pocket to allow a mechanism to pull more cash into the now to prop up the system. And a statement that Trump made pretty much sets the stage here. We will find you and kill you. Okay, so again, in their back pocket, whoever they want to target for whatever reason, they're going to sell it to you as a mechanism. Again, who pays for all this? Well, we don't have the cash. We're absolutely bankrupt. So this is another mechanism to pull cash into the now quite obviously war, airstrikes, kinetic actions. However, this is going to be however you want to categorize it, is a way that they always use as a mechanism to keep the system fueled. And they're going to sell it to you, this is terrorism or whatever it might be. However, they got to package it up to you and sell it to you. That's how it's going to be. But war, these kind of activities here are simply not just a mechanism to allow the system to inflate. It's economic warfare via other means. Now, we are clearly in what appears to be developing. Look, economic warfare is war. Okay, in case you guys and girls don't know that, just because brains aren't getting blown out or people aren't being vaporized, by 2,000-pound bombs, which of course are being shipped over to Israel now. Trump has promised Israel that they will have access to these 2,000-pound bombs. Okay, so let's just splatter each other's brains and guts all over the earth here, and it's going to make us all feel better, right? Is that the way it plays out? It's unfortunate, but that is the way it's going to go. So as we know, this did actually happen, and let me read this to you real quick. I put this out on Friday, status post my market wrap-up. Now, we understood that President Trump was saying that he was going to implement tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. The news of it came out Friday, but a very muted response from the market. Now, let me just read this to you again. This is in your inbox if you do subscribe to my newsletter. So anyway, Lions, just a quick note. With Trump's 25% tariffs slated to be placed on Mexico, Canada, and China only got 10% anyway. The market, in my opinion, was not even convinced or sure that this was actually going to happen. And I wrote here, I say this because of the reaction of the market, which was muted. So what we needed to see, and I said it would be interesting to see, right here, interesting, is number one, if they actually did happen, which they did, and how the futures market would react. What I left out here And we didn't know if this was going to happen right away, but it appears that it has. Canada has already retaliated, and Mexico is already planning on how they're going to do it. I'll cover that in just a moment, how they're going to retaliate as well. Now, this is the muted response with regard to the major stock market indices on Friday. I mean, look at these forget the numbers. The numbers may look kind of big. They're not. Okay, let's look at the percentages here with regard to how the market sold off. Nothing. Again, the market really, in my opinion, was just blew this off. Really, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? We'll see. You know, Anyway, so it did happen. Let me just read this to you. This is Barron's, just real quick. So Trump hits Canada, Mexico, and China with tariffs. Trade war begins. Trade war, economic warfare is war. Okay. As Canada and Mexico hit back, let me read this to you real quick. So President Donald Trump upended global commerce on Saturday with 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico and a 10% on China on Saturday. Canada and Mexico have both retaliated and are planning to strike back with tariffs on U.S. goods as well. Now, let me just, there's not a lot of information here with regard to what Mexico is going to do. Kind of ambiguous. Look, we'll see. So this is what Mexico said. So Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, I'm sure I'm messing that name up, on Saturday ordered retaliatory strikes on the United States with no specifics. Sheinbaum said she has instructed officials in her government to implement tariff and non-tariff measures, again, no specifics here, in defense of Mexico's interest. We'll see how that plays out. Who freaking knows? All right. Now, with regard to Canada, this is BBC. So Canada imposes 25% tariffs in retaliatory strike against the United States tariffs here. So Canada announced retaliatory tariffs against the United States in a move that marks the beginning of a trade war between the neighboring countries. Prime Minister Trudeau set out far-reaching, whatever that means, tariffs on 25% of a wide range of American goods. Now, I'm certain that a lot of you have questions about how this is going to play out economically. With regard to this, let's just step back a moment here. With regard to Trump's tariffs here, these are not broad. They are targeted. With regard to energy coming from Canada, there's only a 10% tariff. So, you got to look at this. But here's the situation if you want to just, sketch out some broad strokes here. If this goes on, it's going to be a problem for the people of the United States, obviously, and the people of the world. Again, tit for tat, tariffs, trade war. What's the net gain here? We hit them with tariffs. They hit us with tariffs. So whatever, we were sold the story, as we usually are. These are going to pay for, Trump said that, okay, these tariffs are going to pay for this, and they're going to pay for that. Now that, obviously, these, at least Canada is saying, well, specifically what they're going to do with this Mexican thing kind of out there in the wind somewhere, we're going to be paying them too. So who actually, we're paying for this, they're paying for that. What's the net? Well, I guess we're going to have to see. If this ends quickly, which I'm sure we all hope that, this does get negotiated out some kind of a way fast, I don't see any real major effect. Although you have to also put into perspective that we are in a multiple crisis environment. We have a global currency crisis, central banks pressuring their currency. It's not going to stop. Now we got the mechanism of tariffs on every front here, and we will bear that burden. Believe me, if you think that we're going to come out unscathed, or people in Canada, you guys over there, I have a lot of people that follow this blog over there, we're not going to come out unscathed. Mexico, everywhere else. This is war. This is war. Again, period, however you want to look at it, people suffer. Let's hope that this gets squared out and negotiated out in a way that does not last very long. Because if it does, I think the ramifications here could be extremely serious for people who are already struggling to get by. The mechanism is very, very diabolic. It's again, people are being squeezed from every front here. And again, in my opinion here, this comes down to, again, the root cause of the entire problem, which is, of course, currency devaluation, which is an economic wrecking machine on a scale that we've never seen before, ever. I mean, obviously, we're moving faster and rapidly into yet another engineered crisis as central banks continue to devalue their currency. They're not going to stop doing this. Is to create dependency on the system. We've covered this 1,000 times on the current system here. People can't survive the wealth transfer effect that's going on here. You can't have your cake and eat it too, unfortunately. You can't have a mechanism here where, look, the playing field is not level. The 1 and 2%ers invariably and always do win. The mechanism here of artificially suppressed rates, currency devaluation, is a mechanism to wipe out the middle class and destroy the economy, and to keep the stock markets propped up, to foster what I believe is the greatest wealth transfer effect that we've ever witnessed in the history of the world. And that is not going to stop in any way, shape, or form. The currency of central bank issued notes currency here, it's not real money, is going to be devalued further moving forward. Now, you may see, and you probably will, going to see a knee-jerk here into the dollar, this relative strength of the dollar, no doubt about it. You and I have spoken about this for years. It's going to go on. It's going to go on. It's going to go on until it doesn't. All right. All the threats that Trump has made twice, actually, direct threats to the BRICS nations. Don't you dream, you guys and girls over there, about circumventing the dollar or about trying to come up with another currency that will be a reserve with regard to taking away the Federal Reserve's power again. This is humongous. People don't understand the ramifications of this. I mean, the United States still having the reserve currency is a mechanism of great importance, honestly. Even from a strategic standpoint, obviously having the world reserve currency is huge. It allows the United States to export our inflation to the rest of the world. Now, with the world shunning the dollar, and I really believe this mechanism is going to move forward faster on the back of dynamics that are in play right now. Quite obviously, all these extra bills are going to come back here faster. And the mechanism of possibly even more war. I mean, Trump has left the door open here. Quite obviously, we will hunt you down and we will kill you. Does that sound like this was just a one-off that we got yesterday? No, it's not a one-off. And this is no surprise to anyone. I have covered with everyone here, war is not done. We're going to see a lot more war moving forward. We're already seeing a new mechanism. It's going to be looks like a newfound war on terror. Obviously, they got to, again, and expect anything to happen here to get you to back it. You're going to have to back it. You have no choice to back it. They will convince you that we have to spend whatever we got to spend to, keep America safe. We got to kill many, many, many more people, as Trump said. We've killed many people, his own words here. And I'm sure they were all terrorists, right? Not one innocent person was killed. They were all terrorists, because that's what Trump said. So it must be true. Obviously, this is not true. There's always collateral damage here. No matter how much they want to target these things, there are always innocent people that are killed. And of course, we have to fund that because that's just the way it is. So the situation here is pretty obvious. We have what appears as an economic war on multiple fronts here. And war is war. Okay, just because brains aren't getting splattered out doesn't mean it ain't war. It's war. And hopefully this will resolve quickly. If it doesn't, as I said, people here in the United States, other nations around the world, we're gonna pay for this. We always do. And the rich will continue to get richer off the back of easy money policies, which are going to be implemented here. The calls for lower rates, currency purchasing power destruction here. I think the world today is in a very dangerous place. And don't take my words for this. President Trump said himself, okay, those of you that think every word he says is, divinely inspired, he said that we are on the cusp of World War III. I would have to say that we're in World War III right now. And part of this is, again, economic warfare. Economic warfare. Kinetic war, that is the actual dropping of bombs on people, and death obviously is is something that all plays into this together. So I think what people here are probably asking, and the question is, well, how is this going to affect the markets? Now, this is very interesting if you think about it. We have a few new dynamics in play. Number one, Friday, the market was not sure that this was going to happen. Now it is happening. How is the market going to react to that? What I'm going to tell you to do right off the bat is let's watch stock futures. Absolutely. Let's keep our eyes on the MMRI. All right, this is a big component, obviously, of what's going on here. Now, the 10-year yield is what I was leading up to. We need to watch the 10-year yield. Our central banks, the Fed in this case, but I would expect to see this across the board. It's not just going to be the Fed here. Central banks work in concert together. If, in fact, we start to see a steep sell-off in the futures market, which will start playing out later today, if we do see bond yields start to drop around the world, you know this is central bank intervention here to stop the bleeding, and they're going to try to stop it more than likely before the open. Again, they'll start to act during the futures trading, overnight trading. Okay, so keep your eyes on that 10-year yield. 10-year yield, better yet, on the MMRI, which is in real time, around the clock, and you can follow this. It's 100% free. There's a link in the description of this video. So keep your eyes on where this goes overnight. A couple of other interesting things going on with regard to what's happening here. You got cryptocurrencies under pressure. Is this a prelude for what we're about to see? So think about what's happening here. Economic warfare on multiple fronts. Kinetic war. We're going after terrorist targets over a weekend. It's interesting how this all played out. Think about it. On Friday, the news was announced. Just news or whatever. And the market didn't take it seriously, really, gauging from its reaction, at least in my opinion, with regard to were the tariffs actually going to happen. And now that not only did they happen, but now we have retaliation. Okay, who didn't expect that to happen? I mean, come on. Did everyone think that nations were going to lay down and not take action? Of course they were going to. I mean, this is an absolute no-brainer. So for those of you that thought that, there wasn't going to be any retaliation, that nations were just going to lay down to American policy, I mean, come on, man. You guys and girls obviously aren't getting it. Quite obvious that this was going to happen. It's going to be interesting to see what Mexico is actually going to do, because right now it's all up in the air unless you guys and girls are more educated on this than me. I couldn't find anything or up to speed. And with regard to China, I mean, they just got a little hand slap with these 10% targeted tariffs as well. And we'll see what they're going to do over there. But again, let's hope that this economic war does end quickly, and we'll all come out of this okay. If it's prolonged, I really believe, and I wouldn't be surprised if it is prolonged. Let's understand what's actually going on here. The middle class is getting squeezed, and squeezed harder. At the same time, we are being bridged into a new system. Ooh, I got some interesting stuff I want to share with you on that too. The new system here, the crypto system, the crypto capital of the world. You all know that. But anyway, let me just get my thought out here. So we got economic warfare escalating. We have the newfound, it appears, war on terror with Trump threatening that we will find you and kill you. So you can expect that there's going to be more kinetic, and you can't call it war. I mean, if someone were to drop, bombs, let's say, even if they were precision on, let's say, a city here in the United States, that would be considered an act of war. It's war, okay? War will expand. The war in Israel, we're going to be funding that. We're sending them 2,000-pound bombs now that Trump has approved that. War will continue in one mechanism or another. Economic warfare is war. Kinetic war is war, quite obviously. Now, with regard to Bitcoin, so it looks that the Federal Reserve here is going to be buying Bitcoin. Central banks could buy Bitcoin on Trump's crypto proposals. And this is an interesting article here. Fed Chair Powell says U.S. banks perfectly able to serve crypto customers. Fed Chair Jerome Powell said, this was Wednesday, that the United States Central Bank is not against, are you ready? Crypto innovation. Of course they're not against it here. They're working together. I hope you guys and girls understand what's actually going on here. Despite the nonsense that we're seeing, there's no doubt about it. The Federal Reserve Wall Street got their ugly, disgusting puke hands around cryptocurrencies, and this is nothing but a bridge into the tokenized system, which everybody knows is coming. This is what gets me crazy. I'll be honest with you. Everybody knows, you know it, that we are being bridged into a system of maximum control, where every single transaction that you make down to the fraction of a cent, which Vice President Elon Musk wants to eliminate the penny. Um, it's kind of interesting. Anyway, they're going to be tracking everything you do, everything like they do already. They know exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it here. And a lot of us, we welcome that kind of thing. Some people don't mind the intrusion on your freedoms and your liberties. And I'm telling you that there are going to be legions of people that are going to willing to surrender everything as the system is taken apart piece by piece by piece by piece to issue in the new system of maximum control. But I'm going to tell you something about this system of maximum control. We're going to see things moving forward, people, and it's so obvious. Moving forward, they're going to pressure the middle class much more moving forward. Wherever this trade war goes and kinetic war with we're seeing here with Trump's airstrikes. They're not Trump's airstrikes. What am I even saying? Obviously this is the military-industrial complex calling the shots. Central banks who fund everything here. Presidents, kings, queens, dictators, monarchs. They're all just puppets of the system, unfortunately, that puts us all at each other and at each other's throats here. The mechanism of division and conquering societies and extorting control out of all of us. Sound about right? Or you think I'm way off base here? I think we're pretty much all on the same page, honestly. Central banks, no doubt, are going to, and they already do. How many of you, first of all, do you realize that the United States government already holds obscene amounts of cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin? Oh, you don't believe Greg Mannarino on that? How about you look it up for yourself? Does the U.S. government hold Bitcoin? Does the U.S. government already hold cryptocurrency? Maybe you guys and girls should really do a little research into this. Let your fingers do the walking. Hey, is Greg telling us a tale, or is this actually true? Of course it's true. You all know that. Even in your heart, you know it before you do the research. But I urge you, every single thing that I mention, always do your own research on it. Let's see if Greg is in fact telling the truth. All right, so let's just sum this up here. With regard to the market this week, how this is going to play out tomorrow, very, very interesting to see here. Market didn't believe it. Now the market didn't believe that these tariffs, they wasn't convinced. Now they're here, and there's retaliation back on the United States. And remember, economic war is war. Okay, in case you guys were thinking that war was going to go away now. And actually, acts of war are occurring as well with these airstrikes on terrorism. Which again, look, man, you know this better than anybody else. They always keep this in their back pocket. They got war. The mechanism of war or acts of war generate more cash for the military-industrial complex than any other endeavor on earth, unless you're talking about something like Convid. All right, that did generate what, 3.6 trillion. Most of you say that I'm way off on that number, but that's what I know of. Okay, some people say it's double that. I think from what I gather, it's 3.6 trillion, and that's the number that did come out of a few people's mouths here in our so-called government. And obviously these numbers are all fake anyway, so you guys and girls are probably right. But anyway, look, man, let's just keep our eyes on this. Let's see where this all goes. Let's look, man, you guys and girls who follow my work know that I have a faith that is unwavering in the Almighty, and I believe that the divine hand does play in everything that we do. I know a lot of you don't like to hear that, but that's okay. I'm going to tell you what's on my mind anyway. So if you do believe in a higher power, and I know that most of you do, I would suggest, and I believe this with all I got, that the power of prayer works. So let's pray for a solution where people don't have to suffer, where people don't have to die. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to be sold things. Be ready for it. We're going to be sold every manner a reason why we have to force suffering on each other, why we have to kill each other. Okay? Real or not, engineered, more than likely all fake. You know that. It's just a means to an end. It's very simple for the people to be manipulated, especially when they're fearful. And politicians, they are experts in creating fear, preying on that fear that they create, real or not, and then saying, hey, hold on a second. I have a solution for you. It's this, it's that, whatever it might be. Raise your awareness as to the tactics that are used in politics, politricks, the deceptions, the look here's, the don't look there, the distortions of any kind of reality sold as truth. You understand? We've heard all this before, maybe in a particular book. You know what book I'm talking about? I think most of you do. All right. Love you all from the heart. I really do hope you got something out of this. Hey, people, look, usually on the first of every month or the beginning of every month, I do humbly ask for your support. Hey, Greg, you're doing a great job. I want to support your work. I hope you do. All I ask for is $5, $5 a month, less than a Starbucks coffee. All right. If you feel, and this is not compulsory, and if you're able only to support my work, and I hope you at least consider it, there are links in the description of this video where you can support my work. All right. I count on you guys and girls. I work really hard to give you all cutting edge information here. We're in this together. Let's support each other. All right. As I said, there are several links in the description of this video. And I do appreciate that. All right. Love you all from the heart with all I got. Consider what we've covered here. Comment. Greg, you got it right. Greg, you got it wrong. And I may be wrong. If I've gotten it wrong, educate me. All right. We're stronger together. You know that. So tell me where I got this wrong. And again, this isn't my thing. This is our thing. So tell me where I got it wrong. I will gladly correct myself publicly. I will put out information that you guys and girls want others to know about. Let me know, all right? I'll see you all in the morning, all right? Until we meet again, please, people, take care of yourselves and take care of each other.